Good morning, everyone. Leslie Myrick here, interior designer and associate business coach with Nancy Quinn. It's Monday. I'm back from vacation. I've been living in a tiny camper for 2 weeks, and I'm very grateful to be back at my desk and chatting with Robin White from RDW Design Studio. Welcome, Robin.
Good morning, Leslie. Welcome back from your vacation.
Thank you. I miss work when I'm gone. Is that weird to say? Like, truly, I like what I do. This is fun. So I'm glad we get to talk and do cool things. And that, no offense to my children, that my children are not here right now. And I have a little breather today.
I think when you own your own business, you do love what you do. So it makes a difference. It's not like a job, regular job.
I fully agree with that. So we are talking about website contact pages today. And I like that we're talking about this because I'm sure people are going, so what? Like, it's your contact page. You put a form on, blah, 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 blah. But no. And I want to hear your take on contact forms and how they fit into your website as that tool for your business.
And I love that you said that because so many people do kind of treat the contact page as an afterthought. But let's put this in perspective for a second. For the majority of us out there, getting somebody to contact us is the number one goal of our website.
Yes.
So why do we want that very important page to be an afterthought? It shouldn't be. It's as important as all the other pages of your website. And if that truly is the primary goal of your website, then your main call to action on all of your other pages should be linking to that contact page. So it is actually incredibly important, right? It needs to be really well thought out. It needs to be branded the same way the rest of your website is. The design should follow the same type of aesthetic as the rest of your website. This should not be something that's sort of a standalone afterthought that is just a contact form. And I also like to think strategically about my clients' contact pages.
Okay.
And what we want to think about is, what is your process for how you manage incoming leads? I need to know that so that we can make that contact page work for you. So for example, are you someone who wants everything automated? Then that contact form, for example, needs to connect to your booking system, right? Possibly your CRM or your email marketing platform. We want to think about all of that.
Yeah.
What is your pipeline like? Are you booked out for the next year, or are you desperate for clients? These are two really different scenarios. And in my opinion, your contact form should reflect what your pipeline is like. So for example, if you
I want to hear more about this because I think people are like, wait, why would it be any different? It's just a contact page, but it
needs to change. No, if you are desperate for clients and you need bookings, right? Your contact form cannot be any type of barrier to entry. Name, phone, email, message. Simple. We don't want to be asking too much, making potential clients jump through any hoops. We need to make it as easy as possible for them to reach out to you. If you are booking for next January and you don't want to be bothered with inquiries that aren't a really good fit, then you need to broaden the kind of questions that you're asking, be a lot more specific, do some pre-qualifying in there. I say this nicely, but make these potential clients do a little bit of work to get on your calendar, right? Yeah. And your contact form, this is something that should be ever evolving depending on where you are in your business.
I love that, Robin, because I think we don't always think about the contact form being a barrier. It's just like, it's a contact form. We're used to it. But I have seen everything from just like, click here to send us an email with no guidance to what I feel is kind of excessive in terms of questions and screening and like, what's your favorite ice cream flavor so that they can buy you a gift. The designer can buy you a gift later. It's like, you don't need to know that yet. You're just going to scare people off. So you're right that your contact page, whatever intake method you're using, does become a filter. And are you keeping that like that gate open wide and you want very little information so that people come through and they get on the phone with you? Or like you said, are you using your contact form to say, I'm not for everybody. I'm not taking on every job. I'm not available all the time. So if you meet XYZ criteria, let's talk.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that changes. And it can change. You could be in business for 20 years and right now things are slow and you might need to change your contact form and make it a little bit easier. And then when things get busy again, change it back. So ever evolving. The other thing is it's not just a contact form that should be on this page.
Okay.
Along with the form, you now need to think about who's your ideal client and how are they going to want to get in touch with you? Should you have an email address there? Should you have a phone number there? Should you have a link where they can book directly on your calendar? Or do you want to see these inquiries coming in before they get on your calendar? So all of these things are, things that you should consider in terms of what goes there. Also, it's really important to let people know what's going to happen after they fill out this form.
Yes.
Right? How soon will you respond? How will you respond to them? And like, what's the next step? So I think I lifted somewhere and wrote down what I have on my contact page. Let me see. So I wrote, to get started, please inquire below. I'll respond via email. So I'm telling you exactly how you're going to hear from me within 24 to 48 business hours with a link to my calendar where you will be able to schedule a complimentary 20-minute introductory consultation where we can discuss working together. So you know when you're going to hear from me, how you're going to hear from me, and what the next step is, right? So everything's clear, and the form doesn't seem like it's just going into this black abyss and you don't know what's going to happen, right? And then the other, I think, really great thing to do on your contact page is set boundaries. This is, right? So this is where you can list your business hours. So these potential clients know that you work Monday through Friday from 9 to 4, and you're not going to respond to them on a Saturday or Sunday. There's no expectation on their part that you will. You've listed what your business hours are. And then for SEO, listing your business hours and on your contact page and having them mirror exactly what's on your Google business profile is a very good thing.
I love that. It's funny you say about the boundaries. I cannot tell you, Robin, on my website, in the footer and on the contact form, I have like mailing address. Like it's not a physical address. And the number of people, not that I'm like getting crazy influxes, but like vendors, I've had a couple potential clients will show up to that address looking for me. I'm like, we are by appointment only. This is a mailing address. Like this is not where I am working. You cannot just come knock on my door and talk to me. But it's so fascinating that people don't always listen, but that is a great place to put it so that you have backup and say, this is actually not our physical address. This is a mailing address. Or no, I'm sorry, we didn't respond to your email because we are closed on the weekends, as stated on our contact page.
Exactly. It just gives you something to fall back on.
Yes.
Yeah. So today we're actually looking at Jerry Chaney's contact page. So thank you, Jerry, for volunteering and letting us take a look at this and give some suggestions. And to that end, Leslie, I hope it's okay if I do a plug. If anybody watching would like to have a page of their website audited, please let us know. Pop something in the comments or reach out to us, and we would be really happy to add you to the list. But what I love that Jerry is doing all the way at the very top of her page in the header, since we're talking about the contact page, I love that she has contact set up in her menu up there as a button. It is highlighting how important it is. Obviously, this is the main goal of her website, so she's done a really good job with this. And this is just set up really lovely with the logo on one side, the menu on the other. And we generally want to have contact, inquire, connect, whatever it is you call it, on the far right, because that's what standard convention is. So it's where most people are going to look. So we don't want to bury it in the middle of the menu.
Well, you've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. Be clear here, not clever. You don't want a cutesy name up there. You said contact, inquire, get in touch, something that's very, people know what to do. You don't want to get
obvious.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And then I love that she's got a really beautiful image of her work right away. This is, you want to showcase your work on all the pages of your website. So that's really well done. The only thing that I would say is maybe you want to put, contact right above it or right below it, just so it sort of reaffirms what page they're on. Not necessary, but just an idea. And then we go down, and I really like the layout that she has here. She's got this set up in 2 columns where we've got the form on the right and some information on the left. So let's take a look at the left column first. It says, nice to meet you, which I love because it is really warm and really inviting. And I feel like, I don't know Jerry, but it makes me feel like that's her personality. So I like that that's coming through, but I can't see it clearly.
That was what I was going to mention too. I think it's a great job. It's a great call out, but it's really not enough contrast between the text color and background.
Exactly. So even if we took the color of Chaney in her logo and did it there, or just use regular black like the body text, whatever, but just something that's a little bit darker so that we can read it. But I love the warmth and welcome feeling that that gives out. And then I think it's really nice that there's a smiling photo of Jerry there. Looking at the camera. So she's kind of greeting us. And again, I think it ties in with that warmth and welcoming as well. And I love that she's got her email as an option. She's got a phone number as an option. She has her business hours right there, which is fantastic. And she explains, she thanks them for their interest and explains where she works. So that's all really fantastic. The only thing that I would say that might be a really good thing to do is, again, let people know what they can expect after they fill out the form.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, because there's a button to submit the form, but no further instruction.
Yeah, exactly. And then if we take a look at the form, I think she's done a really good job here. I like breaking up first name and last name rather than just having a generic name field. This way you are getting their last name. And if you just say name, they might just put in their first.
I get anxious when I just see name. I'm like, which one do you want? Do you want both? Is there a like, this sounds so silly, but this just makes it really clear and simple. You're like, okay, here's what I do. Good.
It's clear and simple. And it also gives you their full name if you want to Google them. Right? I mean, I understand with me, I work virtually. With most designers, they might eventually be going into a client's home. So looking them up a little bit, finding out some information, if we're just thinking about safety precautions, is sometimes a really helpful thing for you. So having that last name can be really good. Email and phone, I think, are always really important. Just in case they mistype something, you have another way to get in touch with them. Project address is something I would love to just chat very quickly about here, because I know there's a lot of different coaches out there who highly recommend that you guys ask for a project address. And I understand why, because this way you can look up this address on like Zillow or something. You can see photos of the home. You can see like what state it's in. I mean, state of disrepair, how nice it is. And you can see the value of the home. So it's giving you a lot of really useful information. Now I want you to put yourself in the place of the person who's actually filling out this contact form, where you might potentially be a stranger to them, and they might not know how secure all of this is. And they're now giving you their home address, which then in their minds could jeopardize their safety.
That makes
sense. I just say,
becomes one of those barriers, Robin, that you could keep it on there if you want things a little tighter. And I have it on mine for the exact reasons you said. I want to look at the home, the property, the value. It helps me understand the client and their needs and what we're able to do for them. But your point is very valid that it's kind of scary giving out your address if you don't already have trust in someone. And this is just, maybe they Googled you and found you. They're not coming from a referral or a trusted person that has connected you.
They could be a very cold lead. So what I like to say is a couple of different things you can do. Make it not required so that the form can be filled out without it, or don't have just a form as a way for somebody to reach you. So for example, here it's required. So if Jerry had a potential client who didn't want to fill that out, they could call or email her and get in touch with her that way. They don't have to fill out her form. So I just always like to say, keep this all in mind. I understand that it's incredibly important information for you to have, but just put yourself in the potential client's shoes and make sure you've got another way they can reach you if it is a required field. just in case they don't want to give it to you.
Perfect.
I love that she's asking for them to share a bit about the project and how they found out about her, which is really good for you guys to sort of keep track of what sort of marketing efforts are working for you, right? And I like her button wording. I'm ready. You know, she's put a little thought into it. And I like that. It's not just send or submit, right? And it's a nice color. There's a hover effect. So we know it's working and everything. So I think the form is really well done. It balances nicely with all the information that's on the left. So design-wise, I think it looks really good. Yeah. And then we've got her footer where, you know, she's done a really good job. She has her menu down here. She's got her service area, address, phone number, logo. The one thing I'm not seeing are legal policies. Jerry, you have to have a privacy policy because you have a form and you're collecting personal information. You probably need a cookie policy and a terms of service as well. So highly recommend that. Once this goes up, I will put a link to Termageddon, who I recommend for legal policies, in the comments, so that if you want to use them, you can just click on it and get that set up. But I
use Termageddon thanks to your recommendation, Robin, and they're so good and so easy and very, very affordable. So big thumbs up for them.
Absolutely, absolutely wonderful. Couple of other things that can be really helpful to have on a contact page: a testimonial or two from a client. And the reason I say that is if somebody is ever so slightly wavering, do I want to contact this person? I'm not sure. Are they right for me? Having a testimonial that says something really nice about you right there can be what pushes them over the edge to fill it out. So that can be really good. Also, embedding a map from your Google Maps listing that shows either your address or your service area can be a really good thing to do. If you have a Google business profile, which hopefully you all have, what can signify to Google some trust is when that is mirrored in other places on the internet. So since your website is on the internet and you have control over this, if you can mirror what you have on your Google business profile, your NAP, your name, address, phone number, exactly how it is on your Google business profile on your website, and embed that map, that is a really good trust signal.
Wow, I hadn't thought about that. Like, you're right though, but companies where you have a hard time finding their location, and Jerry did not do that. She did a fabulous job listing out where she's based. Yes. But when you can't figure out where someone is, you're right. It just sort of erodes that trust a little bit that, like, are you legit? Are you someone I can trust? I might be doing some little website updates after we're done here. I think that's great. And I love that you mentioned service area too, because my first reaction was, but what if it's a home address? I don't want to put and also I don't serve clients in my office typically, but you can do a service area, and that is really important. That's great.
Yeah. And if you just go to your listing on Google Maps, there is a way where you can get code to embed your
so it's
map.
not just like a screenshot you're taking, it's actually a live link to the maps and it'll show on your website all pretty little area that you serve.
Exactly.
That's fantastic. And it's interesting because it's these little things, Robin, as you know, that make such a difference in getting someone to click that I'm ready button or submit button, because there's just these little tiny things that affirm to them, yes, I'm making the right choice. This is the right person. Things are polished. They know what they're doing. I can trust them. They're transparent.
Exactly.
That's how you're going to get more leads in the door.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, we're never going to try to rank for a keyword phrase on a contact page.
Okay.
But there's still some really useful SEO, local SEO things that can be done there in terms of, you know, mirroring exactly what's on your Google business profile. And then it just gives a little more content on the page as well, which isn't a bad thing. Yeah. But all in all, Jerry's done a really lovely job.
I agree. I think it looks really good. She's checked almost every box. So that's fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, don't sleep on your contact page, designers. I know it just seems like it's just the contact page. And it's so funny, Robin, every time we do a live together and do these website audits, you're always like, the contact page is so important. The about page is so important. The home page is so important. If you're not realizing this yet, every single page on your website is so important and it needs to be there and it has a job. And if this is something that you are struggling with, it is not your area of expertise, then Robin is an amazing resource to help with that. She's got some great done for you services. She can help guide you towards a website that's actually going to convert clients and build that trust, which is incredibly valuable.
Yeah. It's that I call it know, like, trust, convert.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have that know, like, and trust before anyone's going to convert on your website and go to your contact page and fill out the form and get in touch with you.
Yeah.
So all the other pages, I always like to say there's 5 main pages your website has to have. It's home, about, services, portfolio, contact. And they all work together as an ecosystem.
Yeah. I like that. Just keep it. And here's the thing, like, websites don't have to be crazy overwhelming. Like, don't get cute. There's a place for clever and there's a place for clear. And the website, I think, should be clear, clean, let people know, make it easy. Unless you're trying to filter people a little bit, and then it's okay to have a few more, not make it hard, but have a few more barriers to entry before they can get on your calendar or get through to you.
Absolutely. Less is more, simple is better, for sure.
Boom, mic drop. Robin, thank you so much. And Jerry, thank you so much for letting us review your website as well. Jerry is one of our Profit Insiders, and it's so fun to see her evolve and succeed and do amazing things. Robin and I are here every month doing a website audit, which I truly enjoy, peeking behind the curtain and learning more about the technical side and the back end and just making our websites work better. So visit Robin at rdwdesignstudio.com. And of course, she will be back in the future with more website audits. And if you have a page on your website you would like Robin to review, don't sleep on it, because this is literally an expert giving you free advice. So leave a comment, let us know. We'd be happy to get you on a future broadcast, and we'll see you back next month, Robin.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye, everyone.